guys, and welcome to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Kenya. I do hauls, reviews, and a tutorial. Today's video is going to be on the new soft matte foundation from Nars. I went ahead and picked that up, as well as the concealer that's already been out, but I thought I'd pick it up since I haven't had it in a while. So I went ahead and picked that up as well. Hopefully this is helpful to any of you who are around my skin tone, or even if you have the same skin type as me. I did go ahead and pick it up in Tahoe in the foundation concealer. They do recommend these together, and I did like this when I tried it years ago. So I went ahead and picked up another one just to try them out together. I'm doing a wear test, so and you will see how everything wore, as well as my thoughts on the foundation itself. Just a little deets on the foundation. You are getting a 1.5 fluid ounces. Okay, so this foundation does retail for $40. It does come in 34 shades. And a little bit about the foundation. It says it's a 16-hour oxidization resistant foundation that balances oil while maintaining a hydrated skin-like finish, protects from pollution and blue light. The full coverage matte finish, and it's for normal, dry, combination, and oily. It has microalgae and biohyaluronic acid, which help absorb excess sebum. Transfer resistant and sweat proof. Those are a lot of claims for this foundation. If you are interested in seeing what I think about this foundation as well as the concealer, just keep on watching. Okay guys, so I already went ahead and done the skincare. I've moisturized, I've done my brows to save time, and I've already prepped my skin. I went ahead and used products that I normally use, because if you use something brand new with something new, you don't always know what is the thing that worked or didn't work. So I wanted to use products that I know work for me. So I will list the primers down below in the description box. But I have on an e.l.f. primer here and a Wet n Wild primer on this side. And you're probably like, why are you using drugstore with high-end? These are ones that I know work for me with pretty much any foundations. That's what I went ahead and used. I picked up the foundation in Tahoe, and that's the same shade I have in their Natural Radiant Longwear. As you can see, I love this foundation. She is getting pretty low, so I do need to get another one of these, but this isn't my exact match. I haven't got to the store, and they're not exactly letting you test out stuff, so I just went ahead and ordered Tahoe since I know pretty much what I'll need to do to kind of make it more of my match. And I've had this concealer before, which is their soft matte concealer. And I have this in the shade Caramel or Caramel, however you say it. I've had this years ago, and I remember really liking it. So since they recommend them together and they're from the same line, I went ahead and picked this one up again. They released new shades in this, so they have a lighter shade now in between this one and Biscuit. I'm possibly going to pick that one up, but I also didn't want something too light. If I love this like I used to, I probably will pick up the lighter shade, because Biscuit was just a little too pink and a little too light. I'm going to try to wear these for as long as possible, just so we can get an idea. I did two different foundations just to see how they work with either one. Guys, I hope this matches. Always a struggle to find my match, especially online, but we're gonna try. Oh, she might be too orange. I think I might do one side with the brush and one side with a sponge just to see. So I went ahead and wet my beauty blender. This is a fresh one. So satisfying. Like, I haven't used this one yet, so honestly, it's a very close match to the Tahoe in the Natural. Girl, I've been using this for 10 years now. I have no idea. Natural Radiant Longwear. I don't know why I can't ever remember the name. It's definitely matte. But I don't know. With the sponge, it adds a little moisture. So we'll see with the brush if it's more of a true matte. I feel like when you apply things with a sponge, because they're a little bit wet, things tend to look a little more satin than they normally would with a brush, but we shall see. I applied the little bit that was already coming out, and that's what we're getting. That's the coverage we're getting. Let me zoom you guys in so you guys can see a little bit better. Now that we're closer, to me in person, it looks just a hair like too orange or maybe a little bit yellow, but I think on camera it doesn't look that bad, but you guys let me know. I'm gonna put a little bit on this forehead here, and then we're gonna go on this side with a brush just to see if we get better coverage. Everything on my forehead always looks super light because the forehead girl, you know, when you got that 5 head, you get more sun. So she's a little dark, but we always fix that with bronzer. So I'm not mad at this coverage though, especially with a sponge. And I feel like it's pretty good coverage. I like medium to full coverage, usually full, but I'm good with the medium, especially if it's buildable without getting too cakey. But here's this side for comparison. Okay, let me grab a brush and then we'll apply it on the other side to see if there's a difference in coverage. I'm going to apply this side with the Sigma F80 flat top kabuki. I like that this is a squeeze too because I feel like number one, it's pretty sanitary, and I like that you're able to control the product better. The other shade that I was thinking about getting was Cadiz, but it said it has a peach undertone, but it didn't look super peachy, so I don't know. If you're around my skin tone, what shade do you have in this? I want to know, so that way if I like this, I might just go ahead and grab it in Cadiz. I actually kind of like the coverage better with the sponge, but I don't think I applied as much as I did on that side. I think I applied probably more, so I'm going to go back over it with the brush. Ooh, I look very light. In person, it doesn't look that light. On camera, I'm looking very light. I don't know how it's gonna look until I like edit it, but in person, it's not that light. I'm saying way too much. Yeah, I like the side with the sponge better. I feel like she's looking a little bit light. However, I have been messing with my camera settings again because I'm still trying to get the lighting and the settings right. Girl, it is a lot of trial and error. I'm curious to see how this is going to wear. I am combination oily, mainly oily in my T-zone, so I purposely didn't use a mattifying primer because I wanted to see how it's going to hold up on its own or with something that's not really going to offer it a lot of help. I think I'm going to try this out maybe another day. I don't know if I'll include it in here or if I'll just wear it a few more times and then let you guys know in another video. Yeah, in person it doesn't look that as light as it does on camera, but I don't know. You guys let me know. I like the coverage. So this is the side with the brush, and this is the side with the beauty blender. I'm gonna go in with the matching concealer since they recommended it. I remember liking it a few years ago, so I went ahead and picked up the same shade that I had before, which is medium dark 2, caramel or caramel. I'm gonna probably apply it with a brush because that's how I always apply, or at least blend out my concealers. Most of the time I do with a brush, but I might do what I did today, is apply it with a brush on this side and then use my sponge on that side. I'm gonna just go in with this flat concealer brush just to pick up the product, and then I'm gonna try to blend it out with a sponge. I kind of regret not getting the lighter shade because I feel like this is just gonna end up looking really skin tone. See. Okay, and I didn't apply that much just to see, because I want to actually see if it's buildable, so I didn't apply that much, but I think that blended out beautifully. I remember really liking this concealer, and now they have a lighter shade, so I'm definitely gonna pick that one up. I'm gonna blend this side out with a different brush just to see if we get more coverage. I tend to look, girl, I look kind of washed out on camera, but I promise you in real life it's not that light. Again, it's probably, my lights are probably turned up too high. I'm gonna try to get some footage with my lights a little bit turned down low just to see if we can get a more accurate coloring. This is the e.l.f. Flawless Concealer Brush. I love this. It's very inexpensive. It's easy to find. And it's nice and like large and fluffy, synthetic, and I like it for blending out concealer. Okay, so that's the side with the brush, and then this side I blended it out with my beauty blender. This side is automatically more problematic, so because she just has a little bit more creases right there. I don't really see that much of a difference, but you guys let me know if you see one. The under eyes are just different on both sides, so I typically have a little bit more creasing on this side, but I'm not seeing really much of a difference in coverage. Maybe a little bit here. I'm not mad at it. Again, we'll see how she holds up. I will definitely show you guys how I'm looking without blotting or anything, no touch-ups. I'm contemplating even putting powder on top of it just to see how well it stays, but I probably will set my under eyes because they tend to crease. But so far, girl, I'm gonna turn down my lights a little bit. I turned down my lights just a hair. Yeah, in person, honestly, it's not that bad. Hopefully you can tell a little bit of a difference. In comparison, since I have this sitting here, the Nars Natural Longwear, I'm gonna let this dry down. So far, this is the new one in Tahoe, and this is the Natural Radiant Longwear. But they're pretty close in shade. My hands are naturally dark, like genetics. So, like in comparison to my face, girl. Anyway, genetically, my hands are just dark, so excuse that. But, like, very close. I would say the old one leaned a little more yellow, but I'm still waiting for it to dry a little bit, so I'll come back and show you guys. I'm going to add a second layer just to see how they layer. I like a full coverage under eye because I have dark circles. Like, it's actually blending out really nicely. I don't feel like it looks too cakey. I wouldn't go in with another layer though, because then you might run into problems. So far, I mean, we'll see, girl. I could look at the footage and be like, no. Everything just looks nicer with lights. Let me know which one you guys prefer. What's your experience with this foundation? So far, guys, I'm actually really liking it. I don't think the color's that bad. Once I bronze and all of that good stuff, I think it'll come together. That's usually what I have to do with the other ones. So I'm going to set maybe one of my eyes just to see how it works with the concealer, because that's just something I normally do anyway. I'm going to use the Laura Mercier. I'm actually going to set the side that is less prone to creasing just to see like if this one can handle all these bags and these creases. So I'm gonna finish up the rest of my face. I will see you in, well, it'll be a second for you. I'm gonna finish up my face. Okay guys, so I'm back. I went ahead and put on the rest of my face. I just forward the lashes because, to be honest, I'm not doing anything today. I use as much Nars as possible. No, I just did. Okay, so I have gotten a really late start today, so let's just see how long I'll be able to have it on for. But I really want to check out the condition of my makeup after at least 6 hours. I don't know what you guys think. Let me know. I actually like this foundation. She's matte though. Like, she's matte. This is definitely not for dry skin gals. I would say even if you're normal, it might even be a little matte for you. I definitely, like, I didn't powder the rest of my face. But honestly, I don't even think she needs. The concealer really didn't crease on me. I have natural fine lines under my eye. I always have. So the fact that they're not looking too emphasized. Like, can you guys see that? I had swatched both of them so you can kind of see the Natural Radiant Longwear, just so you can see the coloring. This one's definitely still very radiant, but that's one here, it's got all messed. The swatch got smushed. I ended up getting it on my pants, but there's that one. And then this one, which is much more matte, is the new soft matte foundation, just so you can kind of see the coloring. I will be back with a final check-in. I'm not going to touch up my face at all. I'm not going to blot. I'm not going to put any powder. I just want to see how well it kind of holds off oils and whatnot on its own. Right now, I have a lot of texture in my skin. I'm working on getting my skincare regimen together, but regarding the foundation, I think it looks really, really good. I usually have to finesse my foundations, but I think it looks pretty decent in comparison to my neck, which I naturally don't have the same color, so it's always hard to get it exact. I'm back. It's been 8 hours. I'm greasy. I will say this though, the foundation held up really well in my opinion. Although I'm really greasy, I haven't touched up at all. I haven't blotted any oil or anything. So this is how we are looking. Just to recap, this side I applied with a sponge. This side I applied with a flat top kabuki. I did set this under eye and I didn't set the other one. Guys, for real, even though I look really greasy, the foundation held up really well. Something I forgot to mention is that sometimes I get dry around my mouth, even more emphasized when I wear a matte foundation, and to me it's not emphasizing any of that dryness. It is just now breaking apart though. I checked at 10:30. It's now 1 a.m. Yeah, it's 1:05 now. 1:05 a.m. So I've had this foundation on for 8 hours, and at 10:30 p.m. I checked my face. I really wanted to blot, but I didn't want to take away because I wanted to see how long I could get away with a really greasy face. And I have to say, I still have on highlight. You can still see my contour. There's like glare on my face from the shadow that's kind of coming down, but I didn't get greasy everywhere until after 10:30. But at 10:30, I had oil all over my nose and the sides of my nose, which is very, very common for me. Pretty much any foundation, unless I use a mattifying primer, which I didn't. I wanted to see how long it would stay matte by itself. And guys, I was really surprised at it not being, I mean, I looked dewy, but I didn't look super greasy at the 10:30 mark. That was like 5.5 hours in. I'm very oily now. And it hadn't broken up until now, and I had been kind of checking on it, and I am seeing that it is now breaking up around my chin, but mostly on the side that I prepped with a hydrating serum. So I did prep this side with a hydrating primer serum, and then this side I did a gripping primer, and I do feel like this side is hanging in there a lot better. But overall, guys, I don't think this is a bad foundation at all. I'm not someone who blots typically anyway, but I would typically go in my T-zone with a mattifying primer. So I think with that, I think it will hold up a lot better, but not bad. Now, if you're extremely oily, I don't know about not using a mattifying primer. You probably definitely should. If you're extremely oily, you definitely want to go in with a mattifying primer, I would say, just to help with the longevity. But I'm really still seeing a lot of my makeup left. Like highlighter and bronzer is still there. Now this eye I didn't set and it did crease, but I've had concealers crease that were set, so I don't think it looks that bad. It just kind of settled into my little lines, which are more apparent on this eye than this eye. This one looks a lot better and the coverage stayed better. The eye that I set, I can still see where the powder is, so that definitely made a difference. On this side, I noticed probably around 9 or 10:30, I noticed that the coverage on this eye was a lot less than when we started. I'm gonna try to include either pictures of the starting point just so you guys can see how we looked before. I'm gonna blot real quick though, just so we can see if you did touch up, you know, how much better it's gonna look. So can you see, like, not a lot of makeup is coming off? Like, that's really, really good. And considering this is 8 hours of oil that has just been sitting on my face, girl, I wanted to blot so bad. We're gonna see. That's not even bad. It's a lot of oil coming out. Like, that's normal for me. My nose is probably the oiliest thing on my face. I will say I wasn't super oily everywhere until about an hour ago. So maybe at like the 7-hour mark is when I noticed that I got oily like all over. That, I mean, does it look like I just applied it? No. But do I think like if I had to go somewhere, or if I was already out and about and I kind of blotted it and just touched up a tiny bit, could I wear it a few more hours? Absolutely. I think I could. This is definitely not the worst I've had after 8-hour mark. Most of the time, foundations disappear on me, considering that I didn't use a mattifying primer. So with that being said, guys, I feel like this hung in there really, really well. You guys have to tell me what you think about it. I didn't blot not one time. I didn't apply any powder, and I tried not to touch my face. It is after 1 o'clock here a.m. so I'm going to take my makeup off and take a shower and go to bed. So I wanted to zoom in just a little bit more so you could get a final look at my face. But guys, I don't think that's bad. I mean, again, I don't feel like, you know, it looks freshly applied, but I don't think it looks bad. I am going to wear this again tomorrow, but I'm going to do a mattifying primer as well as maybe even set the rest of my face. I may even do setting spray on one side. I will leave in the description box what I do tomorrow and what my results are, because I probably won't hop back on camera for it. I'll let you guys know what I do and how that works out if you're interested. Guys, I like this foundation, I have to say. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video and that you enjoyed this review. I know it's pretty late and there are tons of reviews out there, but hopefully this helps somebody. If you're around my skin tone or skin type, I hope that this helped you figure out if this would be something you're interested in. If you've tried this, please let me know. I'm curious to see what you guys think, if it works out for you or not. If you haven't already, please take the time to go ahead and subscribe, hit that like button, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!